Independence Day is the movie that blew up the White House, made Will Smith the king of the 4th of July, and taught an entire generation that you can defeat an alien armada with a laptop and a good attitude. But the movie you've rewatched every summer almost didn't exist in the form you know. Today, we're counting down 15 wild facts about Independence Day. And stick around for numbers 1, because what this loud, proud, popcorn blockbuster ended up doing to Hollywood itself, nobody saw that coming in 1996. 15. The movie was born because the director doesn't believe in aliens. Here's the funniest possible origin story for an alien invasion movie. Roland Emmerich doesn't believe in aliens. At all. In 1994, while promoting Stargate in Europe, a reporter basically called him out on it. Why make alien movies if you don't believe in them? And Emmerich, thinking on his feet, answered with a question. Imagine waking up one morning and a 15-mile-wide ships are just hovering over every major city on Earth. Wouldn't that be the most interesting day in human history? And then he stopped, because he realized mid-sentence that he'd just pitched his next movie to a room full of journalists for free. He turned to his producing partner, Dean Devlin, and the wheels started turning. Independence Day wasn't born in a studio meeting or a writer's room. It was born as a comeback. The biggest blockbuster of the 90s started life as a guy winning an argument at a press conference. 14, written in 3.5 weeks to beat Tim Burton. So they have the idea. Great. One problem. Emmerich hears through the grapevine that Tim Burton is shooting Mars Attacks, an alien invasion movie, slated for August 1996. Emmerich's response? He called Devlin and said, "Pack your stuff, we are writing." The two rented a house in Mexico and went full assembly line. Devlin typed in one room while Emmerich storyboarded in the other. Scene cards on the wall, 70s disaster movies playing for research. They finished the entire script in 3.5 weeks, and by the time they typed the end, the whole movie was already storyboarded. The script sold almost immediately, and Fox fast-tracked it to beat Burton to theaters by a month. So if Independence Day feels like a movie built with total confidence and zero second-guessing, that's because there was literally no time for second-guessing. Sometimes the best creative fuel is spite and a deadline. 13. It was almost called Doomsday. Now here's the twist almost nobody knows. For most of production, the movie didn't own its own name. Fox was seriously planning to release the film under the title Doomsday to match the other disaster movies of the era. Bill Pullman hated it. Emmerich and Devlin hated it. But the studio held the cards. So Devlin ran a play. Right before filming the president's big pre-battle speech in the Utah desert, he and Pullman decided to bolt one extra line onto the end. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day. The hope was that when Fox executives saw the dailies, the moment would hit so hard they'd have no choice but to fight for the title. And it worked. 2 weeks later, the rights to the name Independence Day were locked. Think about that. The single most quoted line in the movie isn't just a line. It's a Trojan horse. They smuggled the title of the film into the film to save the title of the film. 12. The studio fought against Will Smith. It's genuinely hard to imagine now, but 20th Century Fox did not want Will Smith in this movie. At the time, he was the Fresh Prince guy, and the studio's argument, their actual argument, was that casting a black lead would, quote, kill foreign box office. Devlin's response was beautiful. The movie is about space aliens. It's going to do fine foreign. Emmerich went further. Shortly before the shoot, with Smith and Goldblum still not locked, he put his foot down and told the studio, "Universal is calling every day. Give me these two actors, or I move over there." He later admitted the threat probably wasn't even possible. Didn't matter. It worked. And the punchline to all of it, Ethan Hawke had been offered the healer role earlier and hated the script so much he reportedly threw it out of his car window on a Texas highway and regretted it the moment he saw the finished film. The movie made over $500 million overseas. So much for doesn't work international. 11. The president was originally the villain. President Whitmore is the beating patriotic heart of this movie. So here's a fun bit of alternate history. In the original conception, the president was going to be the bad guy. Dean Devlin had known Kevin Spacey since high school, had just seen an early cut of The Usual Suspects, and was pushing hard to cast him. because the plan was to write the president as a villain, whose twist is that he turns heroic at the very end when he climbs into that fighter jet. The studio passed on Spacey, the villain angle dissolved, and Bill Pullman's earnest, haunted Whitmore took its place. It's one of those forks in the road that would have changed the entire temperature of the film. The version we got asks, what if the president was secretly a fighter pilot? The version we almost got asked, what if the president was secretly Kaiser Soze? 10. The U.S. military walked off the movie early in production. Independence Day had the U.S. military on board. Real bases, real aircraft, costumes, consultants for the actors, the works. That's a massive budget saver on a movie like this. Then someone at the Pentagon actually read the script. Their one demand, according to Devlin, remove every reference to Area 51. In 1996, remember, the government didn't even officially acknowledge the place existed. Emmerich and Devlin refused. Emmerich called Area 51 the most important part, the thing that tied real-world mythology into the movie and made it feel true. So the military withdrew all support, and the production had to scramble and borrow equipment from other films. They gave up free fighter jets to keep a conspiracy theory. And honestly, correct call. Try to imagine this movie without Area 51. You can't. 9. Robert Loggia thought he was in a spoof. This might be the single funniest on-set story of the 90s. One day, Emmerich gets word that Robert Loggia, the gravel-voiced general, the most serious man alive, is upset and refusing to leave his trailer. Why? Days earlier, Dean Devlin had suggested he watch the movie Airport for inspiration, except Devlin misspoke and said Airplane. Loggia, not familiar with either film, dutifully rented Airplane. The spoof, the Don't Call Me Shirley movie, watched it and concluded in horror that he had unknowingly been acting in a parody this entire time. Somebody had to sit a Hollywood legend down and gently explain that, no, General, the aliens are meant to be taken seriously. One wrong syllable nearly broke a man. 8. More miniatures than any two movies combined. Everyone remembers Independence Day as a CGI landmark. It really wasn't. Roughly 95% of the effects were done with miniature models shot with motion control cameras. And the film still holds the record for the most miniature model work ever put in a single movie. Model shop supervisor Michael Joyce estimated they built more miniatures than any other two films combined. And because Hollywood went digital right after, experts believe that record may stand forever. The tricks were gloriously analog. Those burning cityscapes, a miniature skyline mounted sideways on a wall, filmed from above with fire shot across it. Because flames rise, and rotating the world 90 degrees makes an explosion crawl down a street, and the slime coating the aliens themselves? That otherworldly biotech ooze was KY jelly, personal lubricant. The invaders of Earth were lubed up from a drugstore. The 90s were a magical time. Quick pause between invasions. If you're enjoying this, hit like and subscribe so YouTube shows these deep dives to more people who still own this movie on VHS, DVD, and a streaming service. Now, back to the countdown. Because next up is the night this production accidentally convinced Southern California that the aliens were real. 7. The movie caused an actual UFO panic for the Operation Welcome Wagon sequence. The production retrofitted a firefighting helicopter with massive flashing light rigs, designed to blink a welcome message at the alien ship. And then, according to Devlin and Emmerich on the film's commentary, the crew flew this thing over Orange County at night, without telling anyone. No announcement, no heads up to local authorities, just a huge unidentified craft covered in pulsing, non-standard lights drifting over suburban California. The result, by Devlin's count, roughly 150 people called the police to report a UFO. Sit with that. A movie about the public discovering aliens accidentally ran a live experiment on the public discovering aliens, and the public failed instantly. It's the most Independence Day thing that ever happened. and it happened off camera. 6. The White House explosion was one take, with the press watching. The most iconic shot of the decade came down to a single, unrepeatable moment. The team built a 5-foot-tall, 14-foot-wide White House in exact 1:24 proportions, out of plaster, not the usual wood, so the debris would shatter with real weight. Rigging the destruction fell to pyrotechnician Joe Viscasil, whose previous credits include blowing up the Death Star in Star Wars. Around 40 charges, one model, no second chances. And then the studio raised the stakes. On shoot night, VFX supervisor Volker Engel discovered bleachers being set up 100 feet away. Fox had invited about 50 members of the press to watch the explosion live. What they filmed that night, with 9 cameras rolling at different speeds, is exactly what's in the movie. When the studio later secretly tested the trailer with and without that shot, the argument ended immediately. It became one of the highest testing teasers ever, and that Super Bowl ad changed movie marketing forever. One plaster model, one take, one revolution. 5. Will Smith's most famous ad-lib was about a real smell, and what the hell is that smell? Completely unscripted. The scene where Hiller drags the unconscious alien across the desert was filmed on the Salt Flats near Utah's Great Salt Lake. What nobody told Will Smith is that the lake is full of tiny brine shrimp, and when they die, they sink, rot, and when the wind stirs the shallow bottom just right, release the stench of millions of decomposing crustaceans across the flats. So that line isn't acting. That's a man from Philadelphia genuinely under assault by nature, staying in character while his soul left his body. It fit Hiller so perfectly they kept it, and it became one of the most quoted lines in the film. Sometimes the best screenwriter is a dying shrimp. 4. Bill Clinton watched the White House explode. Inside the White House. The movie screened at the actual White House with the actual sitting president in the audience. Bill and Hillary Clinton watched Independence Day in the family theater, which means Bill Clinton sat in the White House and watched the White House vaporize on screen. According to Pullman, at one point Clinton stepped out and came back a minute later shaking his hands dry, and Emmerich and Devlin nearly lost it laughing. Even presidents are subject to this movie's famous bathroom break problem. Afterward, Hillary leaned over to Pullman, the fake president, and joked that if they ever needed a weekend off, they knew who to call. Then Bill personally walked Pullman around the building, giving him a tour of the real thing. There is no stranger seal of approval in Hollywood history. The sitting president cheerfully endorsing a film whose marquee image is his own house exploding. 3. The cheesiest movie moment of all time is also its most beloved. Now let's talk about the speech, Whitmore's July 4th address. We Will Not Go Quietly Into the Night occupies a genuinely unique place in film history because it is simultaneously one of the most beloved and most mocked monologues ever written. A BBC review called it the most jaw-droppingly pompous soliloquy in mainstream Hollywood history. In 2003, Empire magazine readers literally voted it the cheesiest movie moment of all time. And yet, fans put it next to the St. Crispin's Day speech from Henry V. It gets recited at conventions. Pullman has been asked to perform it for decades. And remember, its final line was invented on the spot in the desert to win a tidal war. That's the whole movie in miniature. Totally sincere, completely unembarrassed, and impossible to kill with irony. The internet has spent 30 years rolling its eyes at that speech, and 30 years getting chills anyway. 2. The original ending was a BI plane. Here's the big one. In the version test audiences saw, Russell Cass doesn't fly an F-18 into the alien ship. In the original ending, he's rejected from the counterattack because of his drinking. So he shows up at the final battle anyway, in his red crop duster biplane, with a stolen missile literally roped to it, and kamikazes the destroyer that way. Devlin intended it as a Dr. Strangelove moment. Then they tested the movie. It scored through the roof, except for one thing. When that biplane puttered into a supersonic dogfight, The audience burst out laughing, and Emmerich turned to Devlin and said, "That's not a good laugh." So just 2 weeks before release, they went back to Fox, reshot the sequence with Quaid in a fighter jet, and rebuilt the moment so we actually watch Russell choose to sacrifice himself. The biplane version still exists. It's on the special edition, and the original novelization kept it. One test screening laugh separated iconic movie death from punchline. 1. The B-movie that rewrote the blockbuster playbook on paper, Independence Day is a 50s B-movie with a bigger check. Flying saucers, a plucky band of humans, aliens defeated by, let's be honest, a Mac laptop. Critics said as much in 1996, and none of it mattered. The film earned a staggering $817 million on a $75 million budget, crushing Twister and Mission, impossible to become the highest-grossing film of the year, and winning the Oscar for Best Visual Effects. But the real legacy is bigger than the numbers. That Super Bowl teaser kicked off the 6 months early marketing blitz that every blockbuster now copies. The July 4th release date became sacred studio real estate. Will Smith walked in a TV star and walked out the biggest movie star on the planet. There was even a live BBC radio play spin-off, deliberately modeled on Orson Welles' 1938 War of the Worlds broadcast. The invasion came full circle. A movie the studio wanted to rename, recast, and recut ended up writing the rulebook that Hollywood still follows every single summer. And maybe that's the secret hiding under all the explosions. Independence Day arrived in a decade drowning in irony and dared to be completely sincere. About courage, about strangers uniting, about the ridiculous, stubborn hope that on our worst day, we'd be at our best. The aliens had the technology. We had a drunk crop duster, a cable repairman, and a speech. And somehow, every July, that still feels like a fair fight. That's 15 wild facts about Independence Day. Drop your favorite moment in the comments. And yes, we already know half of you are typing "Welcome to Earth." We respect it. If you enjoyed this, hit like, subscribe, and send it to someone who still stands up during the speech. You know who they are. Until next time, don't go quietly.